I want to start by telling you about the two most important people in my life: my husband, Daniel, and my best friend, Sarah. Daniel and I got married 5 years ago. Small wedding, maybe 40 people. Sarah stood right next to me the whole time. She held my bouquet when I cried. She fixed my hair before I walked down the aisle. She was the first person I hugged after we said our vows. That is the kind of friend Sarah was to me. We met in college, in a tiny dorm room where the heater never worked. We used to sleep with 2 blankets each and still complain. We grew up together in that way that only happens when you are young and broke and figuring out everything at the same time. She knew things about me that Daniel did not even know. Old things, embarrassing things, painful things. I trusted her with all of it. And Daniel was a good man, quiet, steady. He worked hard. He came home. He was kind to my mother. He was not perfect. Neither was I. But we had built something real together: a small house, a routine, a life that felt like ours. I was happy. I genuinely was. I did not know at the time that I was happy, the way you never really know until it is gone. I think back now and I try to find the exact moment things changed. I cannot find it. That is the thing about betrayal. It does not arrive like a storm. It arrives like water, slow, quiet, getting into everything before you even realize the damage is done. Sarah started canceling plans, not in a dramatic way, just small things. Lunch we had planned for 2 weeks. She said she was not feeling well. A birthday dinner for a mutual friend. She said work was crazy. I believed her because why would I not believe her? She was Sarah. I had been believing Sarah for 12 years. Daniel started coming home later, not every night, just some nights. He would say it was a project at work, a meeting that ran long, traffic. I would heat up his dinner and leave it on the stove and go to sleep. I did not ask too many questions because I trusted him, because questioning felt like accusing, and I did not want to be that kind of wife. I found an earring once. It was between the couch cushions, small gold hoop. I picked it up and held it in my hand, and I remember thinking, this looks like something Sarah would wear. I texted her. I said, hey, did you leave an earring here last time you came over? She said yes, very fast, like the answer was already sitting at her fingertips. I put the earring on the kitchen counter and told myself to remember to give it back to her. I forgot about it by the next morning. That was me. That was how much I trusted them both. I found a clue and I turned it into nothing without even trying. The day it happened, I was at work. I had a headache that started around noon and would not go away no matter how much water I drank or how many times I stepped outside. By 2 o'clock, I could not look at my screen anymore. I told my manager I was not feeling well and I drove home. The drive is about 20 minutes. I remember the radio was on. I remember the sun was too bright and I had my visor down. I remember thinking I just wanted to lie down in a dark room for an hour and I would be fine. I pulled into the driveway and noticed Daniel's car was there, which was strange because he was supposed to be at work. I thought maybe he had come home sick too. I thought maybe we would both just nap and it would be one of those quiet afternoons. The front door was unlocked. I walked in. The house was quiet, but it was not the kind of quiet that feels empty. It was the kind of quiet that feels full, like something was there, just holding its breath. I heard a voice upstairs. I stopped at the bottom of the stairs. I stood there for a few seconds. I do not know what I thought at that moment. I think my mind was trying very hard not to understand what it already understood. I walked up the stairs slowly. I put my hand on the wall. I walked to the end of the hall. I pushed open the bedroom door. I am not going to describe what I saw in full detail. I think if I said it plainly, you would understand. But I will tell you this. Sarah was in my bedroom, in my house, in my bed. She had Daniel's shirt on. I stood in the doorway and I did not scream. I did not cry. I did not throw anything. My body just went completely still. Like every single thing inside me stopped at the same moment. I looked at Daniel. He looked at me. I looked at Sarah. She looked at me. And I said one word. Get out. My voice was calm. That surprised me. I did not plan for it to be calm. It just was. Daniel started talking immediately. Sarah grabbed her things. I walked back down the stairs and I sat at the kitchen table and I stared at the wall. I heard them moving around upstairs. I heard the front door open and close, and then the house was quiet again, but a different kind of quiet this time, a ruined kind. I sat at that table for a long time. Daniel came back that evening. He sat across from me at the same table and he talked for a long time. He said he was sorry. He said it was a mistake. He said it just happened. He said he did not know how to explain it. And then he said something that I have thought about every single day since. He said he had been feeling lonely. He said I was always tired, always distracted, always somewhere else, even when I was sitting right next to him. He said he felt like he had been trying to reach me for months and he could not get through. He was not shouting, he was not angry. He said it quietly, like it was true, like it was a reasonable thing to say to someone whose heart you had just broken in their own bedroom. I listened to every word. I did not argue. I did not defend myself. I just listened. And when he was done talking, I got up, filled a glass of water, went to the bedroom, and closed the door. That night, Sarah called. I almost did not answer, but I did. I do not know why. Maybe I still needed to hear her voice. Maybe part of me still thought there was an explanation that would make sense of everything. She was crying when I picked up. She said she was sorry. She said she never meant for this to happen. She said she cared about me and she cared about Daniel, and things got complicated and she did not know how to stop it. And then she said it. She said, "You were never really there for him. You know that, right? He needed someone and you were always too busy, always too tired. I didn't plan this. This is not entirely my fault." I stayed on the line for a few seconds after that. Then I hung up. I put my phone face down on the nightstand, and I lay in the dark and I felt something shift inside me. Not break. I think it was already broken. This was something else. Something closing, like a door swinging shut very slowly and then clicking into place. The hurt was still there. It was enormous. But underneath it, something had gone cold. Completely cold. And that coldness was quiet and it was clear, and it did not feel like anger. It felt like a decision. The days after that were strange. I went through them like I was following a list. Wake up, shower, make coffee, go to work, come home, eat something, sleep, repeat. Daniel was still in the house. He slept in the guest room. He kept trying to talk to me. He would sit near me in the kitchen in the mornings and say things like, "Can we please just talk?" And I would hand him his coffee and say, "I am fine. I just need time." I was not fine. But I was also not falling apart. That was the part that surprised me most. I kept waiting for the moment I would completely collapse, and it did not come. Instead, I was just very, very quiet. I called a lawyer. I did it from my car in the parking lot of the grocery store on a Tuesday afternoon. It was a short call. I asked a few questions. I took a few notes in the back of an old receipt I found in my bag. I drove home and made dinner and ate it in front of the television and did not say anything about the call to anyone. I started moving things, slowly. A folder of documents here, a copy of something there. I moved some savings into an account that was only mine. Not all at once, carefully, quietly, without making it look like anything. I told nobody what had happened. Not my mother, not anyone from work, not the two other friends Sarah and I had in common. Nobody. I was not ready to be looked at with sad eyes. I was not ready for the advice and the opinions and the people who would mean well and still say the wrong thing. I needed to do this quietly, at my own speed, without anyone watching. About 2 weeks after that night, Sarah posted a photo. She was smiling. Big smile. She had done her hair. The caption said something about new beginnings and choosing yourself and honoring your own path. I looked at it for a long time. Our mutual friends started to notice something was different. I do not know exactly what Sarah told them, but the version of events that seemed to get around was softer than the truth. It was something like, the marriage was already in trouble, things got complicated, feelings happened. The way people talked about it made it sound like a weather event, like something that simply occurred, like nobody did anything. I got a few messages. "Are you okay? I heard things have been rough. Let me know if you need anything." I replied to every one of them. I said, "I am okay. Thank you for checking on me." That was it, nothing more. I did not call Sarah out. I did not post anything. I did not tell my side to anyone who had heard her side. I just said nothing, and I kept saying nothing. Some people probably thought I was in shock. Some probably thought I was being passive. But I was not passive. I was making a choice. Sarah needed me to react. She needed me to be loud and emotional and messy so she could point at me and say, "See, this is what I was dealing with. This is why things fell apart." I was not going to give her that. I was not going to give either of them that. On a Wednesday morning, 3 weeks after that afternoon, I left. Daniel had gone to work. I had a moving truck come at 9. I had already boxed up everything that was mine over the previous 2 weeks, a little at a time, so there was not much left to do. It took less than 2 hours. I left his key on the kitchen counter. No note. I did not slam the door. I closed it the same way I closed it every single morning for 5 years. Quietly, so the latch caught. The way you do when you live with someone and you do not want to wake them. I drove away. A few days later, I called Sarah's mother. I had known that woman for 12 years. She had fed me dinner in her kitchen. She had asked about my life with real interest, the way some mothers do with their children's friends. I liked her. None of this was her fault. I called her just to say goodbye, to thank her for all the years of dinners and kindness. She got quiet on the phone. I think she knew, at least in part, but she did not ask me to explain. She just said that she was sorry things had turned out this way and that she wished me well. I said me too, and I meant it. After I left, Daniel called many times. I did not answer. Eventually, the calls slowed down, and then they stopped. Sarah posted less. Her account went quieter, week by week, until I noticed she had made it private. And I just kept going. That was the whole thing. I just kept going. I got an apartment. Small, but mine. I painted the kitchen wall a color I had always liked, but Daniel never wanted. I bought a plant. I started sleeping through the night again, which I had not done in months. People who knew me started to see me out in the world, and I was steady. Not performing happiness, just steady. And I could see that confused some people who had expected to find me broken. Here is what I want to say to you, because I think this is the part that matters most. I did not confront them in a big, dramatic way. I did not expose them or humiliate them or make them feel everything they had made me feel. A lot of people would say I should have. A lot of people would say staying quiet means letting them win. But here is what I know now. The people who betray you and then look you in the face and blame you for it, they already carry something heavy. They have to live inside the choice they made. They have to look at each other and remember what they did and how they did it. They have to build something on that foundation and see how far it gets them. I do not need to do anything to them. I never did. The only thing I needed to do was leave. And I did. I closed the door quietly, the same way I always had, and I did not look back.